Welcome back to another episode of the Savvy Founder podcast. And today I'm really excited to dive into the topic of decisiveness and the role that it plays in how you navigate changes, especially as you are preparing for growth in your business. This is a topic that has actually been coming up quite a bit with my private clients, but a common trend that I'm seeing is that this year there is so much change that I'm seeing in my clients' business that they have not seen in the year prior. And as they are really gearing up for this next level in their business, they are preparing themselves for that growth. And of course, they're coming to me and we're working on systemizing their business and creating automations in their business so that they're not having to spend as much time in order to get where they want to go, to onboard the number of clients they want to have, in order to make sure their clients are being taken care of without them having to constantly be the one to remember exactly what to do. But something that's happening behind the scenes is this kind of like tug of war, if you will, with making decisions and feeling confident in the decisions that they're making. And I think that the way that you make decisions has a huge impact on how prepared you will feel going forward. So there's a saying that is the only thing that is constant is change. And as service-based entrepreneurs, as service-based providers, we have to learn how to embrace and make decisions that will continue to drive our business forward. So let's not waste any time. I want to dive right into this. So the first thing that I really want to talk about is the art of decisiveness. So as business owners, making decisions is a skill that we simply have to master. Every single day we are faced with countless choices, from really small ones like what email template should I use or what Canva template would be the right graphic to use on my Instagram, to big ones, right? That could be hiring a new team member or investing in a new software, moving over to a new software. And the ability to make those decisions quickly and confidently is really essential for success. But why is it that decisiveness can be so crucial for scaling your business? So for starters, indecision is a source of delays. It creates missed opportunities. And as a online service provider, we often have limited time and resources already because we're wearing so many hats in our business. So every decision that we make or that we are looking to make has a direct impact on our ability to serve our clients. It impacts the way that we show up online because, let's be honest, whenever you feel bogged down by, oh my gosh, am I going to do this or this? All of that is taking up mental space. So when you can lean into being more decisive, this is where you can avoid wasting your time and avoid wasting your energy pondering and wondering, is this the right choice? Is that the right choice? Which, and to be honest, in the long run, it's probably not even a decision that you will remember down the road, but we still allow ourselves to go down these rabbit holes, right? Another reason why I see decisiveness as something that's really, really important is because it allows you to be much more adaptable in how you approach things. So like I said, things are constantly changing. And when we're able to notice a change and pivot more quickly, that will always give you a significant advantage. And this comes through making decisions decisively. Because when we can adjust the way that we use our strategies, the way that we show up inside of our strategies, when we can adjust our processes to make sure that we are staying ahead of the curve, that we are constantly staying innovative and bringing the best information to our audience, this will always give you an advantage. And you can see probably already how having this skill set is one that will absolutely benefit you, especially as you are striving to grow. And to be honest, even if you're thinking, okay, but I'm not really in a big growth season right now in my business, I'm kind of maintaining, even if this applies even to your personal growth. I think sometimes we put a lot of weight on ourselves of we have to make the right choice and is this right, as if we can't pivot after, and that's absolutely not the case. There are people that I'm sure you've probably experienced, and perhaps you are one of them, who naturally are able to make decisions quickly. But there are some of us that this is a skill that really needs to be refined, that we need to develop, that we need to put energy into. Before I move ahead, talk about a couple of things that you can do to help you develop this skill set of being more decisive in your business. So for one, the first thing that's really helpful for you being more decisive is having a strong ability to gather the necessary information. Notice I did not say all information. Before you're able to make a good decision, it's really important that you can get the information that's relevant to what you're trying to decide on. Take the time, whether that's researching, gathering data, looking at the data in your business so that you can make an informed choice. Another thing that's really helpful to lean into when you're trying to be more decisive is trusting your instinct. I had this crazy situation that happened in early March where I was moving so quickly through something that I did not check in with my gut. I didn't do a instinct check and check in with my intuition, and it was the wrong choice. And of course it was something that I was able to rebound from, but it was definitely a headache that I did not have to go through. And it was a good reminder for me that even though sometimes we can get into this process of wanting to move so quickly that we forget to check in with ourselves and make sure that it's a good decision for us. And I even see this sometimes when it comes to strategies we're using in our business, or when you see someone who's having or reaching a goal that you want to reach and you're like, but this is how they did it, so I need to do it that way. And it's like, yeah, but is that the right way for you? So it's just a good thing. Take a second, check in with yourself, make sure that you have really developed a good relationship with yourself and being able to trust yourself. Something that has helped me over the years develop more trust in myself is honestly doing what I say I'm going to do. This might be a slight tangent, but I'm going to bring it back really quickly. This can be as simple as if you said that you were going to go for a walk in the morning, go for the walk. Because every time you don't do what you say you're going to do, you are creating a slight tear in the trust that you have for yourself. And that makes it a lot harder for you to trust your instincts over time. Okay, moving on. Another thing that you can do to help develop your decisiveness in your business is to set clear priorities, to set clear goals. When you understand what your main purpose is or what you really intend to get out of whatever decision that you are trying to make currently, it will make your decision-making process so much easier because you're not just faced with this group of choices, but among those choices, there's bound to be one that will align the most with what your current objective is and what you're trying to do. So say, for example, this is actually a recent example that I had a client and she was getting ready to launch a membership. And so we were looking through and trying to decide, okay, which platform would be the right one to house this membership on. And initially what she wanted to do was to compare the literal list of what each software has to offer, but we had to rewind a little bit and we went into what's your vision for the membership? Is it a place that you want your audience to be able to engage with each other? Do you not really care about that part? Is it a place for them to plug into you? Do you care if they can have it on the go? Is your audience one that is constantly on the move when they're consuming content? When you know that information, this is just a very specific example, but when you know the priority of what you're doing, it makes the options much easier to decide on, and it's not as random. It's not, well, this one's cheaper or not, because you're looking at the long-term vision. Because let's be honest, you created your business and you're in your business for the long haul. You didn't start this to start now and stop later. So you obviously have to have priorities. And so let's make sure the decisions you're making are going to support those priorities, and this will help you grow quicker. Another thing that you can do to help develop your decisiveness is to practice making decisions. So I view this as a life skill. Decisiveness takes practice, and I'm going to be honest, this is probably something that I have worked on, which is why I have so many methods that you can use to foster this, because it's something I've had to put a lot of effort into. And it starts by making small choices. Maybe when you're faced with the choice in the day of, do I want to have orange juice or apple juice? I don't know. That example just came out of nowhere. Okay, just go with whatever feels best. Who cares? Just go for it. And if you change your mind later, okay, change your mind. It's not a big deal. But just like practice being decisive and work your way up to making bigger decisions in a more decisive and informed way. Another thing, and I think this is what holds people back subconsciously a lot in making decisions, is to allow it to be okay if it does not go as planned. Another way of saying this is to just embrace failure. Listen, making the wrong decision, it's literally inevitable. It's going to happen. So if you are trying to avoid making a bad decision and you're pausing every time, you are literally just stifling yourself. You're stifling your growth, because I can guarantee that you will not learn anything by doing nothing. That's just one of those truths that exist. But when we are willing to give ourselves a chance, at least, to learn, to grow, and we can embrace, I really don't even like to call it failure, but I know that that's the way a lot of people will look at this. So I'm using that word cautiously, but this is a natural part of your decision-making process. So just embrace it if that's the way that you see it, and use it as a motivation. Like, this is an opportunity for me to improve. Either I'm going to make a great decision and that's amazing, or maybe I'm going to make a decision that I kind of want to change, but that just means that I'm able to improve that much quicker. Another thing that you can do to improve with this is to surround yourself with people who are very supportive. Something that has been really helpful for me is that when it comes to my family and my close friends, they have always been super supportive of what I've been doing. And a lot of them don't know all the details of what goes on in business and things like that, because that's just not the world that are super familiar with. But when you have people around you who can provide valuable input and can help you make decisions more confidently, that's always helpful. Now, something that I like to warn when it comes to this one is, please do not ask someone for advice if they are not in a place that you would want to be in. That's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make, is asking the opinion of someone who doesn't actually have experience in what it is that you are doing. If you're going to ask for input from someone and you're going to take it to heart, then I would just make sure and check that it's someone that is speaking from a place of experience, that they have the lived experience of going through it, and you like the way that they navigated through it. That's a great person to ask for their input. Also, just notice the areas that you make assumptions. So this is going back into the subconscious realm a little bit. I think sometimes when it comes to decisions, our judgment can get a little bit clouded and lead us to make decisions that might not be in the best interest of our business. So just be aware of your own biases as you're doing it, especially if it's something that you're just familiar with or that you're comfortable with. I think there's this natural need or desire to gravitate to what we find most comfortable, but comfort is not going to help you with your growth most times. So just be aware of that. Also, I had a whole episode on this, but learning how to take calculated risks. So weighing the benefit of you taking the action, of you doing it, what the outcome could be, what the consequences can be, and really being willing to take a risk that is calculated and that you're okay with. And knowing also that you are constantly growing and evolving, right? So if it was something that you couldn't handle before, I would bet that based on all the experiences that you've had up until now, you are probably much more qualified and you have all of your past experiences to prove that to yourself. And yeah, so like I said, these are just some tips that have been really, really helpful for me in becoming more decisive in the way that I go forward in my business and in making better decisions and not taking so much time. So just remember, trust yourself, set clear goals, practice making decisions regularly, and really embrace failure. And I really don't even like to use the word failure because I think everything is feedback. And it's something that came up in NLP a lot when I was getting mindset training. We're constantly getting feedback on this is working, this is not working, this is an opportunity, this part you nailed. And there's a quote that one of my mentors says all the time. I'm not sure who originally said it, but it was that success is a crappy teacher. You learn a lot when things don't go exactly as planned. We learn a lot when we're uncomfortable. We learn a lot when we are stretching ourselves. And like I said, with even this whole process of making decisions in a more timely manner so that you can help grow your business, this is why I can have this episode, because there's been times when I stalled out on making decisions and I know that it had a significant impact over time. And it's okay because I learned from it. And now when my clients have the same issues come up, we can have really good conversations and I can share my experience with them. But if you can skip that part of spending so much time being indecisive and get into action, you will get wherever you want to go so much quicker. So leverage the skill of decision making and use it, because this will make you a better leader in your business. It will help your clients see you as a better leader. It will also, your team, as your business grows, will see you as a better leader. It's just one of those essential skills that we have to master. And something else to add on to this is there's decisiveness, which is really the beginning of this conversation. But after you make the decision, something that I see people mess up on a lot is being accountable for the decisions that they're making. So say, for example, whatever you decide does not turn out as expected. Okay, cool. You can take responsibility. You learn something from it. Maybe you change something that you do going forward. And when you can do this, for one, it builds trust in yourself of, like I said, I do what I say what I'm going to do, and I'm also giving myself room to grow and to be better. Also, in closing this topic out, I want you to remember that decision making is an ongoing process. Things will change. Circumstances will change. You might notice different things pop up in your business. Maybe it's that you're doing another launch and you're deciding on which direction do I go? What method do I want to use? As you go through that process of just deciding and taking action on the decision that you make, you're going to get more data. You're going to get evidence of this part's working, this part's not working. Let me change this. Ooh, let me try that. Ooh, let me do that. It's an ongoing process. And so allow that process to happen. There's no reason to be super rigid in how you approach this. Embrace the feedback and lean into it. Lean into the feedback. Lean into navigating the changes that you're experiencing. Lean into making decisions that maybe before you would have struggled to do. So this is something that, like I said at the beginning of this, is one that I've been seeing quite a bit just with my own clients, and it's such a natural process. But I think the biggest mistake that sometimes people make when they don't feel like they can make a decision is they start to doubt themselves. They feel like maybe I'm not capable of doing this, or maybe I'm not meant to do this. And that's not the case. I definitely urge you, if this is something that you've been going back and forth with, go back, listen to this episode, save this episode, and come back to it, because this is a skill. It will get developed over time, but it does require you to take the action in order to really see that skill develop for yourself. This skill, decision making, is one that will help you so much as you are navigating changes and the growth that you're experiencing both professionally in your business and personally. And while you're being stretched, something that is important for you is to make sure that you're not yo-yoing back and forth, that you are able to continue to take steps forward without always having to take a step back, and to really prepare yourself for reaching new heights in your business. If this is something that you would like to have personal support with, I'm actually going to be going through how to stay grounded and to be more regulated in your business as you experience growth. So if this is something that you're interested in, Early Bird is open. So you just need to DM me if you would like to join. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And I'm really excited because it has been pivotal for me personally in the way that I've navigated even going into motherhood and continuing to have my business grow. So with that, I so appreciate you taking the time to listen to another episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and rate this podcast. And if you have any major ahas, then tag me on Instagram. I love to see what you are taking away from this. With that, I will see you in the next episode. Stay savvy.